I'm going to try and do this little squirrel. I just drew it up. I think he's really cute. Let's get started and see how it works out. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I want to welcome you to a fun and calm little painting. I'm hoping this is a calm little spot in your day that you can actually enjoy and create something beautiful. You can use it as a gift or use it for yourself. Let's get started. I'm going to be using the B paper. It is a 140-pound watercolor paper, 100% cotton. I have taped off my area just using some reused washi tape. And that's the thing. You don't have to use up your washi tape one time and not use it again. Just pull it off, stick it over to the side, and then use it again. It's not perfect, but it's going to give me this area here. The only thing I have to be aware of is any place where I got paint off the edge, it could potentially contaminate my painting. So I'm looking at this going, that's blue, blue at the top. It's not a big deal. There's going to be sky anyway. We're going to start off by drawing this little guy in. And if you look at him, he's basically shaped like a seed. So I'm going to put a line down here at the bottom. And I'm going to draw a lot darker than I would if I was just drawing this for myself. But this gives me my little place where he's sitting down. The whole thing is basically a snowy scene, pretty up close to the ground. So he's sitting on the ground, he's munching on a seed, and if you look, the shape here is pretty much like a popcorn kernel. Let's go ahead and darken that up a little bit so you can see it better. I'm not pressing hard, but I am using a soft lead in my pencil so you can see. So it's a little off center. There we go. His tail is going to be fluffing up out here. His ears are sticking up like this. If you come straight down, sort of divide his body, the head part here, his head is almost half the size of this picture. And so I'm going to come down about halfway. And, ooh, look at that. If you follow this around, it basically is like a heart, an upside down heart. For his chubby little cheeks. We've got that center line. His eyes are sitting inside of parentheses, basically, like this. And then coming around like that, going the opposite direction, maybe a little bit deeper. Here's that center line. He has little nostrils on either side of that center line. And then he's got his little muzzle line, his little muzzle marks. These are little fluffy bits on the outside. And the line that kind of connects between, which gives his muzzle. His hands are sitting up here in front of his face, almost. They're holding a seed. We're going to say that they're just like two little balls like this. And his elbow comes down and goes up. This is the tummy fluff right down here. His little arm, the top of his little arm goes up. He has his feet. These are really very fuzz covered he's in his winter coat. So this is just mostly a placeholder here. And that's where his little hips are. So you see how he is really put in here. This little squirrel has white around the white fur, around his eyelid, and around the under eyelid. Look at that. Then we've got like a seed in his hands. And his fingers will get worked out a little bit more, but really they just have to be kind of finger-y. They don't have to be totally realistic. We're doing it in pen and ink and watercolor, so we don't have to nail it. But look at this. We've got our squirrel drawn in. We're going to go ahead, put some watercolor in the background after we give him a pen and ink lining. I will color his eyes in, leaving an area like this open, just to give him, just to give him a little give him a little spark in his eyes. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to end up, but if I end up painting it all out, I can use a If I end up coloring it all out, I can use a white gel marker or gel pen to put the color, the little white highlight back in his eyes. And I may still be doing that. So I'm going to go ahead. He looks a little cockeyed, doesn't he? We can work that out as we're going along. That's a little better. This eye needs to come up a little bit. There. See? Little adjustments. All right, I'm going to go into fast forward and 2x speed, get this all inked in, then we'll come back and watercolor. So now we're going to get this erased off here. I'm just using, see how close that is? That's not too bad. He's a little bit chubbier. I'm going to get this erased off now. Some of my lines may or may not come off as well as your lines will, because you are not going to draw as hard. Something I noticed is that I do want to get some of these lines in along that bridge of his nose and over his eye and going up onto his ear. And down here where his little mouth is open and going for that nut. Oh, he looks so cute and so fuzzy. We're just going to put a little bit of ground in here. There's little random bits of stuff on the ground. He's actually, you're looking down on him. So there's not really sky so much, but sort of a gray, white, blue type of background. So we're going to take some of this blue. It's kind of a cerulean type of blue. I'm not sure. There's so many different colors in this. And remember, this is not the sky, it's going to be the ground. So we're just getting shadows going with that blue. There we go. All right, so I've adjusted the lighting so you can see this better. I am working pretty light because I want this just to be gentle shadows. There we go. And yeah, I am using this piece of watercolor paper back here, kind of like a palette. I like how some of these little edges are becoming a little bit harder, but not super hard. There we go. These are very soft, gentle type colors, but we're going to get a little bit deeper as we move on here. I am going to test. I'm taking some of that blue and a little bit of an orange. Well, nope, that wasn't an orange. That made purple. Don't know. Let's grab a little orange. There's this really orangey tone back here in his tail, and I don't want to forget that. I don't want to lose that. I am looking at a picture of a little squirrel that I found on Unsplash, and I'll put the link in the description below. And if this is your first time here, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to be notified when new videos go up. I am really excited for the new year and all of the things that are coming up. I have lots of ideas. I am really happy about the direction that I'm going. I needed a change. I needed, new year, new me. So I'm just using what was left in my brush of that kind of orangey brown that I created and moving it around a little bit, getting it around on here, sort of an underpainting where I'm going to be glazing over it. I need to get, let's see, he's really more in the grays and blues. So I want to really gray that color up. By staying with the same colors and making that, changing them up a little bit, you end up with a picture that goes together better. So this color is going in under his cheek. It's definitely more gray. Oh, there. Sort of like the little shadows on his coat. His forehead is actually going to be much browner, but I'm going to go ahead and get this gray sort of brushed in and work it down underneath of his arms a little bit. This is probably the lightest area on his face, right across the cheeks and his nose, muzzle area. I'm finding that I like these more soft and sort of painterly type images, but with that little bit of pen and ink, to give me some definition, to give me some area to work inside of. I work better with boundaries, which is, interesting to say, but I do. I work better with boundaries, knowing where my edges are. Oh, he's just turning out to be so cute. Just working those colors in. I want to darken up his feet. So I'm going to start working on darkening him up. I'm leaving spaces here, though, that are much lighter, where the sun's going to be hitting it, where the, just make it lighter. I don't have any other reason other than make it lighter. I want to gray that up a little bit. I'm still working with that blue and orange kind of mix. Really graying that up. Bringing more blue into it is making it more gray. Making it a little bit darker. I'm going to start dropping in some darker fur around there, but I want to keep him fairly light as we go to the front. Get his little feet a little darker. The space underneath next to the feet can be darker. And then coming around the outside. And then up here on the top of his head, I need to start darkening it up. He has shape to his head. He's not flat. He's a very round boy here. And let's see, the orange. Ooh, there we go. That's a much darker, deeper tone. Maybe a little more blue. Work off to this edge. So I'm using complementary colors. I'm using the orange and the blue to make myself a really deep gray. It's not making brown. It's making more of a gray. So we need to go darker behind his hands and under his cheek. Behind the hands and under the cheek on the other side. I'm just tapping the color in. It is drying lighter than what I'm putting on, so we're okay with that. I want to work right up to the edge of that area where I want the white to stay. But I'm going to bring it darker as we're going up and away, and a little more brown. If you have more orange in it, it's more of a brown tone. If you have more blue in that, it's more of a gray. Leave a little rim of light going on here, and that gives you your definition between his cheek and his shoulder area. You can do this. You saw how easy it was that it went in. I need a darker gray. A little bit more of the brown in it, dark gray though. To go in here on his fingers. Get his little hands going, darker gray color. Right under his arm. And now I want some of that gray up here in his tail also. I'm not going to cover over all of that orange. I want some of that to stay standing out, but the tips of his fur are much darker. Let's see, maybe we'll grab another blue. Ooh, not that blue. Grab some more orange. Wow, that's actually giving me a really good browny tone. I'm just tapping this color in. It's going over some wet areas, so it is bleeding out. Ah, sweet. Now we want some of that color down here, like on his arms. A little bit of that more brown tone. I hope you're enjoying this, and if you are, make sure and share your artwork. Share it with your friends. Share it with me. I love seeing other people's artwork done from things I've shared or taught. When you share your artwork, if you would tag me at Deliberately Creative on any of the social media outlets, I will find it. Let's see, I need to make that a little bit darker underneath. Here, under the eye. I'm not trying to give him a mask, I'm just giving him a variety of tone. So except for it having that fluffy tail, this could be a variety of critters. This could be a chinchilla. If you didn't have that big fluffy tail, he could be a chinchilla. Almost the right colors for it even. He could be a hamster. Very easily you could make this into a hamster. Little teddy bear hamsters. Very easily you could make this into a bunny. So, you know, look at the shapes, grab a picture. I'm going to put a little bit of that color down here. Maybe back here. Just here and there. Just a little bit, just to sort of make it feel like he belongs in this background. What do you think? I am actually pretty happy. I think maybe I will go in, I will grab a little bit of the black and tap in a little black on his tail. Here and there, just a few bits, and maybe flick out a few little fur bits on his tail, little furry bits. Darken, he needs to be a little bit darker right back here behind his ears, so his ears stand out. There we go. That makes me feel better. So it definitely is where there's a light, there's a dark. And so if you want that light bit of his tail, or of his ears to show, you have to darken up that bit of the tail right behind his ears. Or have it be way lighter. And After it's all dry, you could go in and do more pen work if you wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and sign it. There we go. And now we'll pull the tape off. I didn't put anything on the other side. I could. Actually, maybe we'll do it like that. Ooh, that just makes me happy. Move that card. He looks so sweet. Yeah, I heard people saying, hey, the nut isn't painted in. Let's just get some nut color in there. The nut is getting colored in. That nutty little squirrel. Nut, seed, whatever it happens to be, he's enjoying it. Darken that up just a little bit in a couple spots. There. Guys, all of the materials are listed down below in the more information box. Just click on my things I like to doodle with link and it will take you to my Amazon store with all of these supplies that I used in this video. Thank you. And remember that your purchases there will give me a small commission, but it never changes the price you pay. I really hope that you will like, comment, subscribe, share your artwork with me, and remember to go out and do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I hope to see you back here again really soon. Bye-bye.